Amazon just released one of the biggest video game flops of 2025, and it slid under the radar like a fucking B-2 bomber. But instead of dropping its payload successfully, it crash landed directly into a nuclear silo and wiped out any possible future for the studio behind it. And this wasn't a quiet failure either, this was a full-scale catastrophe. Millions of dollars were dumped into marketing this game, including a Mr. Beast special with a $250,000 prize. $250,000 just handed out, all to promote a game that nobody played. What was supposed to be a safe, low-risk pivot for Amazon, shifting their gaming ambitions toward casual party-style games, turned into a complete embarrassment. The game is called King of Meat. Despite being backed by one of the largest corporations on Earth, there's a very real chance you've never heard of it. King of Meat is a 4-player co-op party platformer set in a colorful fantasy world full of dungeons, puzzle traps, and monsters. It's framed like a game show where players fight through ridiculous enemies and obstacle-filled labyrinths designed for chaotic multiplayer fun. On paper, it sounds like the kind of thing that should thrive on Twitch clips and streamer chaos, but it didn't. The game was launched on October 2nd as a premium-priced $30 online-only party game with no couch co-op. If that doesn't explain the sorry state of party games, then I don't know what does. The game only managed to pull slightly over 200 players, and within a month, the game already had a 75% off sale. Internally for Amazon, King of Meat was supposed to reach a target goal of 100,000 concurrent players on release day, but what actually happened was vastly different. Even during a free weekend on Steam, when friction to play was effectively zero, King of Meat peaked at 320 concurrent players, and that was the high point. After the free weekend ended, the player count collapsed into double digits, and then into single digits. Across all platforms, the game reportedly failed to even sustain 1,000 players. Now, although Amazon Games published it, King of Meat was developed by Glowmade, an independent studio based in Guildford, England. If you look at Glowmade's own website, their entire identity is built around making accessible party games focused on creativity and community. But the problem is that King of Meat had none of these qualities. King of Meat was just a bad game, and this was also one of Amazon's attempts at dragging a smaller studio into one of their half-baked strategic pivots. Amazon has been trying to restructure the live service obsession that burned them with New World and Lost Ark. Instead, they've invested into the Fall Guy-style full-party casual gaming genre, hoping to catch lightning in a bottle like other party games. But with King of Meat, it just full-on face-planted. This was an astronomical failure for Glowmade and Amazon, but what made this failure even more brutal is how Amazon tried to force this game into relevance. Amazon poured millions into marketing this thing. The game was showcased at Gamescom, they plastered it across Twitch through sponsorships, they ran ads through Prime Video, and don't forget the Mr. Beast sponsorship ad. But none of these moves were effective in pulling players, even during a free weekend. And unfortunately, this failure is having real consequences for Glowmade, as gaming insiders say that discussions about voluntary redundancies began earlier in the month, and also confirmed that some devs were already laid off despite leadership saying previously that there was enough runway to keep staff on. However, posts on LinkedIn confirmed that developers are being laid off from the studio. But for Amazon, there were virtually no consequences. When news of Glowmade's layoffs broke, Amazon's stock rarely even moved. I guess the market had already predicted that Amazon Games would struggle like they always have. Amazon Games has spent years chasing live service success, but far more often than not, Amazon's gaming ambitions end the same way, with failure. And I think this is really the core problem. Amazon treats video games as software products. Success is measured in concurrent player targets and dashboards instead of building a community. They basically turn the studio that works with them into vendors. And King of Meat tried to skip the process of organic and genuine player engagement, which has resulted in millions of dollars lost and potentially more layoffs for Glowmade. This is the uncomfortable truth. You can't manufacture a hit by brute force, and you can't buy community like Amazon has always tried to do, and it's sad to see because the game really tried hard to be relevant, but absolutely nobody gave a shit about this thing. Well, that's all I have for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I appreciate you for making it to the end of the video, and as always, have a good one.